He's a director at the company. And we released this video, and I confronted him in a restaurant in New York City. And a week later, I was removed from Project Veritas. So conspiracy theories were abound. Did Pfizer bribe somebody? Did they put pressure on people? This is the guy, Jordan Walker. There he is right there.
Change your music.
I remember this guy.
Yeah, this is a Yale-educated doctor, director, high up within Pfizer Pharmaceutical, and there he is freaking out. Grabbed the iPad out of my hand. My cameraman had to, in self-defense, push him away because he was physically assaulting me. You could probably find a better video there. Oh, there's the one of him undercover. Click on that. Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID, the undercover journalist asked. And he said, well, that is not what we say to the public. No. Don't tell anybody what I'm telling you. Promise me you won't tell anybody.
Can we hear the audio of this guy saying this, Rob? Go back a little bit. Yeah, this part, I hope there's no Titanic music in the background, but go ahead.
I'm not sure if you have audio on the clip.
And James, while he's looking for this, how in the world can you expose something like this guy, plain and simple, and then nothing happens? Like nothing happens. The truth is
to him or to me?
Let's stay on this.
Okay,
let's sequencing. Vinny,
okay, my bad.
Let's stay on this. So while this is happening, this is being released. Okay, do you have the audio, Rob, or no?
I do. Let's see.
Our undercover journalist asked
So you're on a
Walker
date
how
with him, or
Pfizer's
somebody else is on a date
handling
with him?
COVID vaccines are ineffective against virus variants. What he said is disturbing. Listen to this.
We're exploring, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses.
Yeah.
So we're do we want to do this? So that's, one of the things we're considering.
Okay.
The future, maybe we can, create new versions of the vaccines and things like that.
Okay, so Pfizer ultimately
to the audience who may not remember this, okay, we reacted to this multiple times.
Okay.
But how high-ranking of a person is it?
Pretty high.
Okay, pretty high-ranking.
At the time when I released this, the mainstream media were like, well, we don't know if that's really a Pfizer director. They denied that this guy was who he was. I got internal Microsoft Teams messages from sources within Pfizer that confirmed he was who he said he was. He's a director, high up in the company, 2 below the chief executive officer, and high-ranking guy.
Okay, so when that happens, you release that. What happens? Give me the sequencing of what happens with Project Veritas trying to fire you. The 25 employees that turned against you. What happened then?
Yeah, so this was released January 26, 2023, January 25th, pardon me. The confrontation was released the very next day in Brooklyn. It was just filmed in a pizza restaurant in Brooklyn. And then board meeting was on February the 6th, where they brought in a 6.5-hour grievance session. Out of 75 employees, about 12 employees spoke with these grievances, which is what you watched in the documentary. And then on February the 10th, they indefinitely suspended me without pay, a.k.a. fired me from Project Veritas.
Now, the claims they made is you fired a CFO, and you fired, is it Hinckley, or what's his first name?
Yes, Barry Hinckley.
Barry Hinckley. So he was the chief strategy officer, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So walk me through what their concern was, because you don't have the right to fire the CFO or the chief strategy officer. I'm the CEO, the founder. What do you mean I can't fire?
They said that I was wrong for me to fire the chief financial officer.
Who is they? The board?
The board. These individuals that you saw in the film.
Right.
They, it's got their names: Matthew Tiermond, George Skakel, other individuals who no one knows their names, Joe Barton. But these board members said James does not have the authority, and it turns out I did have the authority. And the chief financial officer sent me a message on February the 2nd saying, we're going to have an emergency board meeting to remove you, James O'Keefe, as CEO. I was taking off on an airplane at the time. I was like, this is the Twilight Zone. I said, what are you going to say to the public? Do you have a press release written? They said, no, the public doesn't need to know. So for me, it was like, are you kidding me? This was like the Twilight Zone.
Were they using counsel to threaten you to follow every order they were giving you, or else? Is that kind of what they were doing to you, intimidation, or no?
No, it was just this is the story of what this is such a crazy story. They weren't threatening me. They were just informing me that they were going to remove me as the CEO of the company. So my number 3 guy saying, we're going to remove you and restructure the company. I said, okay, you're fired. This is not going to happen. I'm not going to let you do this because it's going to destroy the organization if you do this. And this is the phone call we're having as the airplane is taking off from Nashville, to Nashville on February